Välkommen. Välkommen means welcome. It means plural in Swedish. Välkomna. I'm sorry. Välkomna is the plural stand with the NA behind. Välkommen is for one person. So if you are invited to, or you're inviting somebody, a suite, to come to your house, you say välkommen if it's just one person, and välkomna is a few people. Alright guys, hello, who is joining us today? Let me see. Hello Carol, how are you? Carol, how are you doing? Hey Carol, how are you doing? Today is a day where I enjoy being alone and doing something fun. So we are going to decorate a cake. Tomorrow is my daughter's birthday, and I thought, why not? It's supposed to be my off day today from live streaming. But you know, since I love you guys so much and I want to hang out with you, so I thought, why not just spend a few minutes with you guys here. Alright, so guys, the table is a bit far today, guys. So if you need to send me any comment, please do that later, okay? Because I'm going to just start off with explaining what are the things that we need. So I'm going to teach you guys how to make a cake quick, fast, and cheap. How does that sound? It sounds good, isn't it? So quick, fast, and cheap. Alright, I'm going to come back to my space here. This is my space. So I'm going to show you how I make this really cheap and tasty cake. And this cake, you can practically do it with anywhere, for anybody. Alright, so this is my daughter's 19th birthday. So I'm very lazy to bake, and I found this really good. We call that the toad bottom. It means cake bottom from the supermarket here, which is really nice. I did one video just 1 month ago when LG was having his birthday, and a lot of people wrote to me and asked me, hey SD, can you give me the recipe of the cake, the chocolate cake? And I was like, oh my god, I didn't make that cake. I just bought them ready because it looks so spongy and quite moist, right? So this is my secret, and I love this cake. I think this is the one that is only available at the supermarket in town. So, and they are really, really cheap. It's about $3 actually. In US dollar, I think it's about $2.50. And with that amount of money, you could save time, effort, and money, alright? Because if you want to make a cake like that, I calculated including the butter, the eggs, the flour, the sugar, everything should cost between, in Singapore, it's like $4 to $5 just to make a bottom. So, and I got this at $3, and I don't even have to bake them. So I'm going to show you today how to use this ready-made chocolate cake. And I'm going to show you how thin it is and how moist it is, okay? So we're going to start off with presenting the ingredients, all right? So I'm going to make a very typical Swedish cake here. The Swedes love it because I think the Swedes, they don't like to spend too much time in the kitchen. So I learned the way, the tricks, and I'm going to tell you guys and share with you guys and how you too can benefit from these tips and tricks, alright? And I hope you guys find this beneficial, and if you do, please go ahead and share them and invite all your friends and all your people to come in so that we could all learn from each other, alright? Maybe somebody has a better tips, I don't know. Alright, so I'm going to start off with tipsing you guys what I have prepared. This is just some mix, we call it the Ganache. It means cream. You whisk them and it become hard. So usually I use a stabilizer by using gelatin, but since some people are vegetarian and some people don't like the idea of adding gelatin. So I'm not going to add gelatin this time. I just add some vanilla powder and some, we call that the sugar. It means the flour sugar. So you don't really need a lot, just about, for me, I prefer it to be less sweeter. So I have just got 3 tablespoons for about 1.5 cup of fresh cream. So what I do is I just whisk it until it's coming to a peak, and then I add in the vanilla. You can add vanilla essence for those of you who are from Singapore or from Southeast Asia or in Europe. Otherwise, in Sweden we have a powder called vanilla powder, and I have actually added a little bit of that just to get the flavors. So it's really easy to do. All you need to do is just to whisk this up until it comes to a peak. Add the flour or sugar and then the vanilla essence, and keep them cold in the refrigerator. And if you like, I would prefer you to actually cool this or put the bowl in the freezer so that it's really cold. So when you work at it, it's faster, and also it will keep the cream very cold when you are frosting it. Alright, and also I bought this also at the same supermarket. It's a strawberry, and they're having special sales, alright guys. And I was a bit skeptical about this strawberry earlier on because I thought that, oh my god, it's not from Sweden, because I love Swedish strawberry. You can never beat the Swedish strawberry. I bought this 1 month ago at LG's birthday party, and surprisingly I love it because I didn't think that I would love it. I do not know which country these are from. It's imported from this company, the supermarket. So, and it's really cheap. You know, LG, he has a strawberry farm, and I don't we don't have strawberry at this time. So this come in really handy, and it's really cheap. So, you know, if you were to calculate everything, let me just guide you how much I actually spent to making this cake, alright, towards the end. And with that, I'm going to decorate with some chocolate ganache. Chocolate ganache is really delicious. It's not that much sweet. It's not no sugar added in this chocolate. So again, I bought from the supermarket, the same supermarket. And actually the chocolate, I tasted that it's not so much sugar content in, which is really good, because you guys know I'm very conscious about my health, and this is really good for me. And what you do is that I'm gonna boil the cream in the microwave, the lazy way, the Swedish way, and then I'm gonna pour this chocolate into the warm milk, and I'm just gonna stir. It's really easy. You won't believe how easy it is. So I'm gonna show you how to do that. And of course, you know guys, Swedish people, they love banana, alright? Banana is their biggest love. So they put everything on banana, and I don't understand. And until now, I still don't understand. They have pizza with banana. Some of their dishes, they have banana. But for me, I quite like banana in cakes, especially when it is chocolates and cream and strawberry. The combination, surprisingly, was really nice. So I thought, you know, just want to show you guys how I do it in a really quick and fast, easy way. Alright, so without further ado, let me just explain to you what are the things that I have here. So I have the cake bottom, and I have this one. You won't believe, I have this. This is actually a plate that is, you know, you can turn them and it will swirl. So this is really good, especially if you're good in making cake. And I'm not good in baking cake. I'm not a baker. I'm more like a, you know, international cuisine kind of person. So baking to me, I'll try to find the laziest way out. Alright, and that is what I'm doing now. So I have this at the flea market, just 5 crowns. It's really cheap. It's about $1 Singapore dollars, and it's made of wood, and I could easily clean them. So if you have a professional one, please do use that. I think it's much easier. So when you're decorating the cake, it's better to have this feature. And I don't have the advanced stuff, you know, I don't have that kind of money to buy. So, like most people, everybody have a plate like this, right? So what I do is I just place them on the plate like this. And here you go. My $5, $1 fine. And it suddenly become a professional cake decorating plate. So, let's get started, alright? But before we do that, I'm going to show you the easiest way to make a banana fillings. Okay, so what you need to do is take out the banana, peel them, make sure the banana is ripe enough. I have about 2 of them I'm going to be using. Actually, 2 can be too much for some people, but since this is going to be like 2 layers, so I thought this would be perfect. And I need a fork. Let me get my fork. So just squash them like this. So you can use any kind of banana. Actually, the best kind of banana, I don't know whether it is available in Sweden, but I hope Sweden, ICA can import more of this assorted fruit here in Sweden, because frankly speaking, I prefer the Asian banana. If you've been to Singapore and you have tasted the banana there, the banana there is 10 times more flavors than the one that is in Sweden. But the one in Sweden, actually, I would consider they are quite pleasant. You know, it's very pleasant to eat. But then you don't have this strong banana essence, which is what I really miss. And I hope, you know, they can sell that in the future. I noticed this company, they have been trying their best to bring in as much assorted food into their supermarket. So I think this is really good too. So just squash them. You don't have to mince them like you know, very well, because you want to feel some part of the banana too. Alright, so what I do, because this banana is already sweet and I don't like to add any more sweets, you know me. So as long as you get this texture, not too smooth, and that is where, you know, let the magic happen. Alright, what I do is I add just a bit of the cream, a little bit at a time, and I'm just going to mix them together like this, so it becomes like a paste. Alright, so this is going to be one of the fillings between the cakes. You see how easy that is? So no more sugar, alright, just keep it as it is. And this is all ready to be used. So I'm just going to add a little bit more, right? Because I think it's a bit too stiff. So this can be easily spread between the layers. So this is done. Okay? So you see, I don't really have a lot of advanced stuff like all the professional bakers have. Anyone could easily do this at home. And I hope that you will find that this is useful to know. You know, you don't really need to buy a lot of stuff to bake, actually. So now let's come on with these cakes. Alright, let me give you a close-up look how this cake looks like. This cake, it not only looks good, it smells good too. Alright, I can even smell it now from the outside. So this is how it looks like. Guys, I'm going to show you how simple. This is like a saving, you know, my time. It's like my savior. And I cannot tell you how grateful I am, you know, to have this just around the corner, just around my shop area. And look, guys, it is so thin, so juicy, so moist, and most importantly, it's really delicious. And it comes in 3 layers, 1, 2, and 3. So it means to say that you can actually make 2 layers of fillings. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to show you how to do it. All right. So I always start off with the first layer, which is at the bottom like this. Put them in the center of the plate. So it's also very good that you get a ceramic bowl, like a plate like this, because you know, being an unprofessional decorator, I don't know if I can call myself a decorator. It's very good you have them in porcelain, so you can wipe it off around when you have created the mess later, and don't be ADHD, alright? Don't bother about all the side at the meantime. This may be a mess, but I can assure you, all this can be fixed. So what you do is you get hold of some towel and you just wipe them around. Alright, so the first layer, let me just start off with the first layer. So I'm going to use half of this amount, which is around this much. And I'm going to just spread them using a very normal spatula. I'm sure everybody has this at home. So I'm just going to spread them like this. And making sure that it's not too thick, and making sure that it is evenly spread, okay? This is what I learned. If you spread one side too thick, and then you find that the cake, it will like unbalance at the end when you see them. Yeah, how come it slanted the cake? Right? So this is how I usually do it. Spread them evenly, spread them out. Okay, now this is done. Alright, I think I'm quite happy. And you should also check if the amount is enough for the second layer. Alright, I think this is more than enough for the second layer. And because here there is a bit of space, so I'm going to fill this up like this. And making sure it is even. Alright, make sure it's even. So let's do the second layer. So I'm going to put the second layer on top. And again, I'm going to pour the rest of my banana mixture. You know, in Singapore, I remember when I was a kid, when my mom make a cake, it's like a big deal, okay? She literally spent like the whole day baking cake. If it's a big birthday party, she will bake a nice cake. And that takes a lot of time. And I don't think so everybody has that kind of time anymore. So this is really good for people who don't have time to do all this fancy stuff. I call this fancy stuff because this birthday is not like every day, right? And also at the same time, you want to show that somebody you really care and love, which is my daughter, and I hope she appreciates that. And the one thing I realized is when you are baking the cake, I used to be against, you know, people saying, that is not considered baking, you know, she's just pretending, or maybe she's just cheating, because all this is ready-made. Guys, I know you do something from the heart is very, very important. But for me, I'd rather do this quickly, faster, easily. If I could get my daughter to help me out with this, I would love to spend the time with her doing this cake together. And I think practically cake, when you are working in the kitchen, it shouldn't be a struggle. It should be something that you enjoy doing that, and it makes your work much easier, and I don't think anything is wrong with that. So okay, let's do the last layer. Alright, let me just get the last layer out. I'm getting this longer one to get rid of the cake. So usually, sometimes you can find that it sticks to the bottom. So it's very good if you have a knife like this. And then I'm just going to just transfer this over to the top. But I'm going to just do it this way because I like to have the cake this direction. Okay, as you can see, this cake is like a bit decorated already. So I'm going to fill up a hole here. So there's no hole in the center. There's already some decoration on the cake itself. So if you don't like to put any dressing, it's still fine. Just leave it on. Maybe just put some fruit and all that. So while this is made, I'm going to show you how to make the chocolate ganache, right? And which is really, really easy. I'm going to get the cream out. This is the chocolate that we need, and I'm going to get my cream out from the refrigerator, and I'm going to put them in a microwave for the maximum so that it melts. Alright, so meantime, what you can do is that I'm going to put the cream on top, especially at the side, because you don't want all this to be surfacing, right? It's not so good looking. So what I do is that I put a knife and then I just push everything in, making sure that everything is in position. Alright, don't bother about the mess. There's nothing for you to worry about. So I'm just going to decorate the cake. Usually I like to start from the side, and I'm just going to just swirl this plate. Like this. So I usually like to put a thin layer first, like this. Alright, and the second layer. Let me just check my cream, alright, before it overflow. It's not hot fully. I'm going to continue for about 1 minute. So I'm going to just continue to put another layer. Like this. Okay, it's really easy, isn't it? Looks so easy. Even myself, I feel like I'm hopeless in baking. I could do this. Okay, so, and the top, right? I miss out on the top. Don't worry, the top is coming. So I'm going to check my cream again before it burns. Just making sure that it doesn't burn. Yeah, it stopped by itself. So guys, let me just tell you, alright, I calculated this cake. It cost me about 79 crowns to make this whole cake. If I were to buy this ready at the shop, this cake will cost me about 350 crowns. Alright, I'm not joking, about 350 crowns. And if you make them at home by yourself, you can make them below 90 crowns or 80 crowns, depending on which shop you're going. I like to shop in this shop because I like the price. First of all, I think the price is quite fair. Secondly, they have quite a good brand, a few brands to choose. So I'm really on a budget, and most people, they would agree with me that some people, they might think that, oh, why not support the local? Yeah, I do that too. But sometimes we can't go all the way. Then it becomes too expensive, right? So sometimes you have to cut corners, and to do that, sometimes certain products you don't really need to have local produce. But in the dairy product, I would recommend people to buy local produce, because we need to help the local farmer out, because otherwise they are going to run out of business and we will not have any dairy product. We will not have milk, we will not have butter, and we're going to have a lot of problems because we will end up importing most of our stuff, and that is not good. So I'm going to just run through like this. Alright, you see how easy that is, right? So I don't have a really good spatula, but I think the one that I had before was much better. This is just a normal. You can actually use a knife if you don't have one like this. So I think this is done. Okay. Ta-da! Super thin, super easy, right? Okay, guys, it's done, yeah? And I like to do like this. It's kind of fun, and I want to share this fun with you, right? So let's do one more round of that, and then we can do the cleaning up for the cake at the side. Ta-da! Done. Really fast, isn't it? So what I will do now is I'm going to put this cake, quickly pop them into the fridge so that it cool down. In fact, it's cool, but I want it to be cold. So I'm going to put them in the refrigerator, like I did now. Okay, so that it remains cool. Oh no, I have a problem here. Okay, now, problem solved. And let me take a sip of my Ganache. Let me check the milk. Oh, the milk is hot now. So let me just take a sip of my milk. Okay. This is the one that I use for the banana. I'm just going to use just a spoon. All right. So what you do? You pour the chocolate in. The chocolate, the cream need to be really hot. So I'm hacking up some chocolate. These are dark chocolate, and I love dark chocolate. So it looks crazy, isn't it? How could this be a Ganache? Don't worry. All right, you need to stir them, and you need to be patient because this Ganache is it will take some time, but don't worry about the end result. It will melt. And if the milk if the cream is not hot enough, it will not melt, of course, and there is no problem. You can always pop it into the oven or microwave and just continue, not on a high heat because you don't want the chocolate to be burnt. Medium high heat, and just make sure that the cream is hot enough. So I think this cream is maybe needing to reheat because it's getting colder and colder. But we'll see. But don't worry, just keep stirring it. Alright, while I'm stirring it, and I'm going to highlight to you guys, I noticed some of you guys sent a comment to me and asked me, hey Esty, how come I miss your live streaming? How come I never get to join you live? Alright guys. Guys, at my Facebook page, I update every day and I check on my event every day, making sure that my events are updated. I usually do live streaming on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at CET, 17 CET. So I want it fixed because I want it to be like a TV program that you guys are used to the time. and I'm just testing and see if the time works for everybody for over a month now. And it seems to me that I do have quite a lot of view on certain day, especially Thursday. So, and Thursday I didn't have any live streaming. So I'm thinking maybe I should do some live streaming on Thursday too. That would be like literally every day, right? So, but I still want to stick to my Monday, Wednesday and Friday. And Tuesday and Thursday, I will do it randomly whenever I felt like it's necessary. And I hope that you could like my fans page and my event and follow and click on going, because when you click on going, Facebook, they will send you a notification saying, hey, you are going to SD's live event in 1 hour or in 30 minutes. So it keeps you prepared for the event. So in that case, I think it's really good if you are like me, the forgetful type. I always forget about event, and calendar and alarm and notification keep me well informed. See guys, this is doing really fine, so don't worry, just keep stirring this, okay? And you want to stir this until the mixture is really smooth. So, and on Monday, Wednesday and Friday, what do you learn, right? You don't want to just waste your time here. So I noticed my live streaming is getting shorter and shorter and shorter, which is really good because I know that many people don't have the kind of time to sit here and waste 1 hour learning to cook one dish. So I'm trying my best to make this as effective as possible, as creative as possible. And my goal is to promote fast, cheap, healthy international food. And also, I sometimes do a bit of live streaming on travel event. I notice a lot of travelers, they like the idea of getting information where they should do, what they should do in Southeast Asia, like in Thailand, in Singapore, in Vietnam. So and I might be able to collaborate with some company over there, so I might have to travel there in the future, and I hope I can do that so that I could give you guys more tips and hack about some travel information. All right, so my channel is about travel and food, and if you like this and you are new here, I would love for you to like my page, and if you want to join me at Facebook, you could always subscribe. Click onto the subscribe button and there's a bell just beside it. Click onto the bell, and every time when I go on live, you never know, I could come on randomly. So it is good that you have on both sides. On Facebook, today I'm doing exclusively for Facebook because I only have one device. And I noticed there is a big setback because I was using my, actually my Android telephone or my Android what do you call it, the tablets, and the picture was lousy. It was like, oh my god, I don't even know how come people can put up with it, and can't even watch them myself. So I decided that until my new phone comes, I'm going to just decide for myself. Like today, I think it is good to jump onto Facebook because I notice my Facebook fans are very they always send me questions and I could monitor them, whereas at YouTube I have difficulties monitor because I get so many questions every day, which I have a bit of problem controlling. So, but on Facebook, you know, whenever I get a comment or a question, I always get them because my Facebook app is always on. Alright guys, this is done. So this is how it's supposed to look like. Alright, smooth and not too thick. So this is the Ganache. Some people, they like to add the vanilla essence in, but I don't. So we're going to keep it this way. And now it's done. So I have some strawberry. I'm going to take a sip of the milk. Okay, so I'm gonna get my cake out now. Tomorrow we are celebrating my daughter's 19th birthday, and I hope she liked this. And also, one thing about cake is like you have to keep putting them in the refrigerator. Don't be lazy, okay? You cannot skip this part. You have to keep the cake cold. So especially when you're pouring something that is warmer than the cream, so it's better to keep the cake frozen when you pour them. So what I'm gonna do is that I'm gonna just swirl this on the cake, hoping that I don't overdo them, because when you overdo them, they are going to be creating a mess. Okay, so, and what I do is that I move this around, and sometimes when you move it around, you notice that they are coming down at the side. And then I'm going to just try and do this on the same side too. Okay, I'm just going to show this around. And if I can do it, guys, anyone could do it, alright? Because let me tell you, I'm not so good in all this. I'm literally learning still. So this is not a big problem for most of you if you are just not so sure if you could do this, alright? I can do it, you can do it too. So, and another thing is you try to find this. I'm sure you can find them at the flea market if you want to go on a budget. So sometimes you could get stuff like this. Oh, I think this is too much. Alright, the chocolate was too much. So we're going to keep the chocolate ganache in the freezer, because you can always heat this up. Hi Geraldine. So you can always keep this and put them, freeze it, put them in the container, and you could always reuse it. So I'm going to just try and create some effect, alright, that show at the side, because I really like the side effect, you know, the side here that is going down. And some part I missed out. I'm just going to go back there and just put it back. So, how are you, Geraldine, today? Did you sell any houses? Love to you to share some of the inside the property situation in Singapore. And by the way, I might consider buying an apartment in Singapore. I don't know yet, alright? I might do that. So guys, take a look. This is how my cake look like. It's not perfect. It's supposed to be not perfect. But I think it's from the heart. And I hope that she would appreciate them. And what I do next is 1 sip of milk. And I'm going to put the strawberry on top. Alright. I choose the big one on top. So usually it's very difficult for me to see which is the center. So I'm just going to test my skill, my eyes. And I'm going to put the top, the big one first. The giant one on top. Okay. It's really fun, isn't it? Okay, I'm gonna find another big one. Oh, this is not big enough. The strawberry tastes really good. I can tell you. I took one. That's why I don't have enough of the big one. So I'm gonna do like this. It's this direction. I'm a party auntie, alright? I like to do party. And if anyone got a party, please hire me, okay? I don't mind. I love doing birthday party. Not so much of a cake, but I don't mind doing party for food, Asian food, or international food. I just love it. So I'm gonna just patiently put everything together and see how this goes. Alright? Let's see. I think this is almost there. Let me just put this on top like this. Yeah. Like this. Okay, let me see. Oh my goodness, it's falling apart because it was too slippery. Oh, you know what? I've forgotten to wipe the cake, the strawberry. The strawberry is falling out from the cake. Oh my God. Hey, don't fall down. Let me just take this out, alright? Put this aside first. Okay, guys, I have to take this out because the strawberry is falling apart, okay? So I have to take this out. Don't you just love live TV? Everything is like uncensored. And anything can happen, right? So, guys, my mistakes, alright? I think this is too slippery. The Ganache is too thick. Too thin, I mean. And it's causing the cakes to fall apart. And I'm going to get rid of this. And as you guys can see, it's not looking so good now. But don't worry, I'm a problem solver. You know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to let this cake sit in the refrigerator. And this is like chicken. It's like chicken, it's no problem to fix it. I'm going to let this cake cool down in the refrigerator. Let me just put this back. And then I'm going to pour like this situation. I'm going to put the chocolate back, alright? Look at that. So I fixed that hole. So you can do the same too. Don't worry, don't have to be a perfection. If a person is a perfectionist, can be good, can be bad. Why I say that? Because if you become a perfectionist, you're never satisfied with anything, alright? And if you are less perfection, I think with less perfection, people are more happier, in my opinion. And I used to be a perfectionist before I moved to Sweden. And I become less and less perfection, but I felt like I'm more and more happier. So it's okay to mess up sometimes, alright? And the most important is you learn how to fix the problem. And ta-da, this is done. Okay, what this chocolate will do is that it will sit in the refrigerator. I'm going to wait for it to be hardened. When it is hardened, I'm going to use a knife and I'm going to cut off all the chocolate edges, alright? You could reuse them, okay? So don't worry. I'm going to continue to put the chocolate, the strawberry later on top when this is more, how do you call that? More hardened. I'm going to remove this too. And I'm going to put some chocolate on top so it doesn't look so strange. Okay, done. Right. Ta-da. And if you like, you know, you can even cover the whole chocolate. I might want to do that because I think to cover the whole chocolate, it's really nice. I'm not going to do that, guys. Alright, I'm going to cover this. And don't worry, I'm going to take a picture and show you how it looks like on my Facebook page. So, ta-da! Oh, it's too wet. Okay, but this problem is not going to be difficult to fix. So, do like me. If the ganache is too liquid, too soft, put them in the refrigerator. That's the solution. And I'm going to put everything back again. And I'm going to take a picture. And I'm going to blow your mind away how this could look like. Alright. So what I do is I let this edges, all this be hardened. Get the knife and just remove them. If you remove them now, it's going to be like a mess. So it's much easier when they are hardened. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again tomorrow, 17 CET. Have a blessed day. Bye bye.